Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. Corazar, it's night. What are you doing? Why are we starting at night? Well, that's because I wanted to show you just how creepy the world is at night. You don't have much light, or no light. We saw it before in the first episode, but, I mean, look, it's 1 in the morning, and yeah, there's a bit of a red sort of glow that, as I understand, is actually a bug. But if you come in here and we want to take a look at our crops at night, well, we have to have a torch in hand because it is creepily dark out here. And that's one of the things that I wanted to address in today's episode, is I wanted to talk about some of the early game materials and techniques and options you have that you still have later on in the game, but in the early parts of the game, they are either your best or sometimes your only options for dealing with certain situations or for decoration and building. So that is today's plan. I think we should get to it. So, light. We have been using these torches for a while, and I showed you the candle. I didn't show you the candle at night or in your hand. Let's take a look outside. So as you can see, the candle lights up a moderate but still small amount of space, and putting it on the ground, it is tiny. I mean, sure, you can see it, but this is not going to, you know, keep drifters away. One, its light level's, I think, like 3. Doesn't really say. It's 3 or 4. And if you wanted to illuminate an area with them, you'd either need to cluster them on one block, which does actually increase their light level, or use a lot of them and scatter them around. And that's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe for ambiance, sure, but for any useful lighting, not really handy. So we have been collecting this animal fat, and I wanted to draw your attention to this instead. Because if we combine some animal fat and a bowl, we can create an oil lamp. And these are a little bit brighter. They're not stupendously bright, but they're brighter than the single candles are. Let's go ahead and take a stroll outside with these lights. And as you'll see, they're quite a bit brighter. Let me go back and get that candle and I'll show you the difference. So here we have the oil lamp as it's starting to get light at 2:45 in the morning. And here we have the candle. Oil lamp, candle. Quite the difference. On top of that, the oil lamp, when placed on the ground, illuminates a much larger area. These have a light level of 11, and that will actually prevent drifter spawns from darkness and rift spawns in about a 4-block radius, because those require light level 7 or lower to spawn. You can pick them up with right click, but we're going to use these to illuminate the corners of our little farm over here, because I want to have just some light so that we can see our farm. I hear a growl. Let me get back in here real quick. Oh, we can't actually do it there. But now, even if we don't have a torch in hand, we can at least see the edges of our farm at night. And that should bring us a little comfort, and it'll be easier to see our house when we're coming home in the darkness, which we shouldn't stay out that late. So, what else is there to look at? Well, there are plenty of things that I want to do to this house before we move on to what I'm going to call our permanent home. I have been working on some plans for the style I want to build in, but unfortunately that style isn't going to be available to us until we can saw logs into planks. So in the meantime, we're going to look at some other things we can do to our house, and one of them is windows. I am tired of these things looking ugly and being the way they are. And it would be nice to have some actual, windows so we can see out and actually see what's out there, because I have to kind of do a bit of a dance of crouching and sitting to really see anything, and it's not fun. So today we are going to go and get some glass. We're also going to look at some of the other building options for probably our floors, and maybe like a little bit of an accent around the outside of the house. Ooh, or we could even... Yes, we could line our farm and our trap here. Oh, that would be wonderful. Let's do it. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to need some wood eventually, and sooner rather than later. and in larger quantities than we can get from just ransacking that forest over there. So we're going to go ahead and plant a bunch of these tree seeds, kind of willy-nilly here. Maybe not willy-nilly, but in an approximate line. That probably ought to do. Maybe one more. Oh, you can do. Yeah, that'll be fine there. Okay, so that will give us some wood in a few days. We're also going to need to go and actually ransack some of the woods a little bit. So let's go do that. And the reason we're going to ransack the woods is that, sure, we have a little bit of clear quartz in here that we could turn into a window by surrounding it with sticks like this. And we would get 1 quartz glass. Now, as you can see, this glass is not particularly clear. It's cheap, but it's not clear. And so we're going to not use or bother with this. We want to use some real glass. And for that, we need regular quartz chunks. Luckily, we've already marked a couple of those deposits, one up here and one over here. And I think one down here somewhere on the way back, perhaps? Yes, here in this lake here. And so let's go visit these guys. We'll grab this quartz, but in order to actually do anything with it, we have to smelt it. And it smelts at a whopping 1,350 degrees Celsius. Now, let's bring up the handbook. We have coal here, and coal is the hottest burning fuel in the game. In fact, charcoal is the single hottest coal in the game. If you look at brown coal burns at 1100 C. That's not going to cut it. Black coal burns at 1200. That's not going to cut it. And charcoal burns at 1300. Well, how are we supposed to get 1350 out of coal if none of them actually burn that hot? Well, there is a feature called a bloomery. And the bloomery is a primitive fire brick furnace where you build the bloomery, you put your stuff and your fuel in, you light it up, you walk away, and when you come back you break it. You break the whole bloomery down into its constituent bricks, and then you sort of dig out your finished materials from it. And in order to fire that bloomery, you need to have some high heat fuel. Black coal and charcoal are our options, but since we can't mine coal yet, we don't have a pickaxe, so we're going to go ahead and do some light deforestation here in our nearby woods. And I think I'm going to mostly focus on the maple trees, because I hate the maple trees. They have really ugly wood. They're not particularly useful aside from their fuel. And yeah, so maple trees it is. Let's go ahead and cut down a few of these guys. Alright, Kurazar, we have our 4.5 stacks of wood. What do we do now? Well, our next task is to build a charcoal pit. And charcoal pits are very simple. They're actually simpler and less dangerous than pit kilns, in fact. And all you need to do is dig a hole or build a little hut. And we're going to do the latter, I think. We're going to build a little tiny hut here for doing our charcoal. And we're just going to do something like this, I think. And we will pile this up a little higher. And there we go. Next, we need to chop down all of our wood here, except for probably this stack here, into firewood. So, once you have your axes made, make your firewood. And you will burn through axes making firewood, trust me. And once you've done that, we're going to hop into our pit. We're going to actually make a little exit here. And we're just going to stack our firewood here until it is 2 blocks high. There we go, 32 firewood there. And there we go. So we have what is basically a tiny little charcoal pit, and it'll do the job, I guess. And the way this works is that you can build a charcoal pit up to, I believe it's 11 by 11 by 11. As long as you can fit a fire pit at the very center and then fill in every single block of air with either dirt, ceramic, stone, glass, or a full stack of firewood. So what we're going to do next, we're going to go grab a single block of grass. There we go. We're going to come up here and place our fire pit, and then we'll do one more set of logs. I'm just going to tuck them on here, and now you'll see it has charcoal pit, and that's because it senses that it is on top of a stack of firewood. However, it has not yet checked to see if your charcoal pit will actually work. So you have to make sure the whole thing is encased in a non-flammable material, namely stone, glass, ceramic, or wood, and then cover it all up. Once you have everything except for your fire pit covered up, you can then light it. And then you can cap it with a single block of dirt or your other materials. Now, you won't really know if it's working until about 30 in-game minutes, so you have to give it about 45 seconds to a minute before you see it working. But what will happen is you will see a lot of these little smoke particles coming up from every block here that has wood under it that's being converted into charcoal. While it is smoking like this, you absolutely must not break any of the blocks in your charcoal pit. Otherwise, you may cause all of your logs to just catch fire and burn into smoke that goes into the atmosphere and leaves you very sad and charcoal-less on the ground. And here we go. You see how there is now smoke coming from all of these 4 blocks here? That now indicates that our charcoal pit is doing its job, and we can come back in about 24 hours and we will have some charcoal. Okay, so now that we have our charcoal burning, we need to go and get the rest of the materials that we need in order to actually get our bloomeries going with some glass. Namely, we need the quartz, which is up in here. We also need some fire clay, which we can find right up here next to this quartz. So let's go ahead and get this quartz and this fire clay, and let's just see how many we get from each of these. Alright, so here we are at the quartz area. Now, because quartz occurs in such large veins, I'm not as shy about picking up the bits before we actually get a chance to mine them, but I am going to go ahead and build a little tiny tower right here, just in case for some reason we struggle to find this spot again. But just like other rocks, we can pick these up off the ground with right-click, and there we got a clear quartz, and there we got a regular quartz. Come over here and get some more regular quartz, and we're just going to go around and get as much of this as we can find here. Which evidently isn't all that much. This seems to be a pretty small deposit. So instead, while we're here, let's go ahead and get some fire clay. Fire clay is gathered just like blue clay. You just need a shovel and some determination. Here we go, our inventory is full. Let's go ahead and we're going to make a full stack of fire clay bricks, which is done by simply putting your fire clay in your grid like this, and shift click and you get your full stack. I'm going to get probably another couple stacks of fire clay while we're here, not to make bricks, but for something else we're going to look at later in the episode. Alright, with 3 3/4 stacks of fire clay, I think we're good on that. Let's go over here and let's find that other deposit of quartz, which had a lot more scattered on the ground. Alright, here we are. There's a copper deposit here too. Wow, look at that. Alright. As far as how much quartz we need, I'm going to get as much as we can. However, in order to actually smelt in a bloomery, you need 24 quartz of either type. You can use the clear quartz, or you can use the regular quartz. It doesn't matter, but they all must be of the same type. Now, we already have 6 regular quartz back at base, so if we can get 18 regular quartz out of this, that will get us set to go. Hey, there we go. 18 exactly. I really don't see any more quartz around us, so let's bundle this up and head home. Alright everyone, made it home safe, and I ended up finding a couple more pieces of quartz lying around, but still not quite enough to get to 24 without dipping into our own supply we already had. But that's alright because we don't need the quartz just yet. We're going to tuck this away in here, tuck you away there, and what we're going to do is we're going to fire up our bricks, at least some of them. We're not going to get to all these bricks today, but we'll get to as many as we can. Luckily it is a calm night for now. You can fire up to 12 bricks at once in a single pit kiln, so don't stack them any higher or it won't let you add the grass to it. And you can stack any extra bricks you have wherever you'd like. We'll put ours here. And I need to get some more grass, but I also need to get a new knife, so I'm going to make another one of those. But this time, since we have so many bones in here, I'm going to make a bone-handled knife rather than one with a stick. And you'll see that the durability is actually greater than the flint with a stick. The flint knife is 130, the flint knife with a bone handle is 130 durability. So, you're getting an extra 20 by using a bone. I call it a win. But you get your usual pit kiln stuff going here, and then you get your pit kilns on. And that right there is the light of civilization. Alright, and with our pit kilns firing, we're going to come inside and we're going to make a block that I have never actually made in Vintage Story before. And that is, we're going to take some fire clay and we're going to put it in the fire, just like this. And we're going to go ahead and light this up. And we're going to make some hardened fire clay blocks. And this is done simply by putting at least 8 pieces of fire clay into your fire pit, and they must be in multiples of 8. So this will make 8 hardened fire clay, as you can see here. So not particularly efficient, but it's there. And there we go. We now have 8 of these fire clay bricks, and they are a nice smooth earth tone that you can use for floors, walls, whatever you want to do. And because they are made of ceramic, they can be used for cellar insulation. And I think it's high time that we get rid of the grass that we've been walking on for our floor and replace it with some of this fire clay. I'm thinking it could be cool to do fire clay in these inner blocks here, and then maybe we'll go and dig out some of the blue clay that's right down here, or down here, we've got 2 choices there, and bring that back, and we'll make the blue clay version and make a ring around the perimeter of our house. That sounds pretty cool to me. Let's get to it. I don't mean to alarm anyone, but I think we were being followed by a grizzly bear who is lurking in between our home and our clay. There it is. Oh my. Okay, don't jump, don't jump. Go up these though. Ooh, it's getting close. Let's see if we can get to our little bear trap. There it is. Here he comes. Alright. Up we go. And he's over there. Come on, buddy. Whew. Come on, dude. You can do it. Gonna come get me? Yeah, I'm tasty. I am really tasty. Yeah, we got our bear. Alright. Whew. Well, my heart's pounding. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. A grizzly bear, no less. Oh, a brown bear, okay. Still, these guys have even more hit points than the black bears. I think the brown bears have something like 52 or 66 hit points versus the black bears 44. So yeah, they're a pretty formidable threat. And again, we probably only outran them because we are the Clockmaker class, which has that bonus to speed. Alright, back to work. Alright everyone, just like that, we now have a clay floor with a little bit of a perimeter design to it. We even have little clay thresholds here and here. And yes, I had to go and make one more of these in between the cut there. I've also moved all of our reed chests up here. Now you can, when you place them, if you stand at an angle, they will, be placed at an angle. But I just put them all facing straight on just because I wanted it to look, very uniform. It's a me thing. And I think I didn't really go over the mod that I used to move these just now. I used it once in the second episode, but I think I deleted it during editing. So this is the CarryOn mod. It lets you carry containers primarily. And the way it is used is that you crouch and hold right click on the container you want, as long as you have both hands free. Both your main hand and your offhand must be free. And then you can either look at nothing, like in the air, and you can crouch and hold right click again, and it will go onto your back. And it is extra storage you can carry. Or you can then remove it from your back and aim at a block and place it and put it down. Now, when carrying anything heavier than a reed chest on your back, you take a penalty to your move speed and to your hunger, and that means you can actually get caught by bears pretty easily. And if you're carrying something in your hands like this, you can't open doors or interact with blocks. Anyway, though you can climb ladders if they are available and not blocked off like this one is. Enough about that, let's go check on our charcoal. Looks like we're done here, and our bricks are done, which means we are ready to fire up some glass. Alright, let's go ahead and break into here, and we'll see how the charcoal comes out. So you'll see that our charcoal doesn't really match up with the exact amount that we put in. That's because there is a random amount of charcoal between certain amounts that gets generated per full block of wood that you had in here. And each of these layers, or each of these blocks here, represents 2 layers. So each of these single logs represents 2 layers of charcoal, and you can mine them with a shovel. You can use your hand too, but it takes a lot longer to mine by hand than with a shovel, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and mine these out. There we go, and then let's get all of our bricks out of here. And now we are ready to start firing some glass. I'm going to go ahead and build our first bloomery right here. And like I said, these get deconstructed when you break them open to get your stuff, so they are not a permanent part of the landscape. You have to build the base out of 8 bloomery blocks like this and place it down. And then your bloomery needs a chimney, and that requires 4 more blocks or bricks, and you put those on top. Then we're going to go and find who did that. Hello. Excuse you. As I was saying, we're going to go in and get our materials, which is 24 of these. And you don't want to fire it, or I don't think you even can fire it, until it is full of your smeltable items. So we have to really max out everything in here, which is 24 quartz chunks. If I were to get more, you can see that we cannot put any more in. So it won't let us put it into overfill, which is fine. And then each firing takes 6 pieces of charcoal or black coal. So there we go. Let's go ahead and put these back in here. And then we're going to go ahead and take our torch. And this is one where you have to actually crouch. If you don't crouch, you'll kind of just do this weird beat the torch against the bloomer base thing. You have to crouch, and then you'll put the torch, I guess, in the teeny little hole there, and fire it up. And just like the charcoal pit, these don't run any risk of setting fire to things around them, but if you have them on a wood block and you miss aim while you're trying to light it, you might light your wood block on fire. Don't do that. I spy another rowdy neighbor over here. Come on, buddy. Hey, dude. Oh, Jukes. There we go. Nothing from him. Now, while we are waiting for this to finish firing, which takes, I believe, about 18 hours, there's one last set of blocks I want to use in our little build here. So we're going to put away our charcoal. We're going to put away our finished bricks here. We'll tuck you here. We'll actually move you indoors for now. And I will put away my inventory, and we will head out to get some more materials. And we have come out here because we need some sand. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little patch of water there. And we're going to need some sand and some grass for this operation. So let's go ahead and get our shovels a-diggin', wherever my shovel is. There you are. And let's just take off probably most of this top layer of sand here. And then we need a lot of grass, so we're going to go ahead and mow our lawn for a little while. Oh, and we have the rare double rift here. It looks like our activity is currently apocalyptic, which is, it's a pretty bad sign. Yeah, it's going to get a little rough around here for a bit, I think. Hopefully no rifts spawn too close to the house. But what we're doing with this sand and this dry grass is we're going to take some of our clay that we have and some of our low fertility soil. So I can find where I put the stuff. Here we go. And we're going to combine these in our inventory a bit like this. Like that. There we go. And we have here dark mud brick. These are pretty interesting dark bricks, obviously, hence the name. And we can also add some sand and add some more dry grass in. There we go. Oops, and we add the sand below. There we go. Like this. And we can get light mud brick. Like so. Now this does require quite a decent amount of clay, so you are going to need to probably get a decent amount in your inventory before you can really go crazy with it. But it makes these really interesting blocks that have a somewhat unfortunate property about them. Let's go ahead and place these down. So we have light mud brick and dark mud brick. And you'll see they have different textures in addition to their different colors. Now, the unfortunate property is that you don't always get the blocks back when you break them. So let's go ahead and... we got lucky there, and lucky there. So that was pretty good. That wasn't so bad, but you'll lose probably 10% of them, I think. So just beware if you're building with mud brick that you want to make sure you're placing them where you really mean to. And I was thinking it would be cool to decorate our rift area out here with some mud brick. Maybe do some of the mud brick like around here, around the base of the house. So that way we don't have, you know, the grass here and have the rain drip off the roof and wreck the grass and create divots and stuff. We want to have the mud brick here to take that brunt and not really splash dirt up against the house. And I'm undecided whether I want to do light mud brick or dark mud brick, so I made both. So let's give them each a shot. So let's try some dark mud brick along here. And we'll try some light mud brick along here. What do we think? The dark... let's get this grass out of the way. Dark or the light? You know... I like them both. The dark is nice because it kind of helps blend the house down into the ground with a new texture. But the light adds a bit of pop to it. And sure, the sandstone adds its own pop. But man, there's just something about this nice white color that really speaks to me. I don't know which one I like more. Oh, and there we go. We just lost one of our bricks there. That's okay. You know, I think I'm going to go for the light mud brick. I like them both pretty equally, but I tossed a coin in my head, and I won the coin toss, and so light mud brick it is. Alright, I don't hear the sounds of our bloomery firing anymore, and yes, it's done. And so as the fireflies come out, and the rifts in the distance do their thing, let's go ahead and break this. Now, this is faster to break with a pickaxe, but we don't have one, so we break by hand. And you don't have to break the top. I just tend to. I have a belief that breaking the top will get you more bricks back, because you won't get back the same number of bricks you put into it. So you will have to eventually go and make more fire clay bricks. But oh, that's right. We need some tongs in order to hold this hot glass. Now that specifically applies to when it's selected in our hotbar. So we can hold them in our hotbar, but if we select it, boop, off it goes. Because these are 750 degrees Celsius. That's a little bit warm. So I have not made tongs yet. Let's find our string. Here we go. So we have to take 4 of these flax fibers and turn them into one piece of twine. And then we need to make tongs with sticks like this. And now, holding this in our offhand, we should now be able to safely, yes, scroll over and place these glass blocks. So placing them works just like any other block. You can break them by hand, and you do get them back. Just like so. And now that we place them, they're no longer hot, I guess, which is kind of funny. But I want to go ahead and replace all of our pretend windows here with some glass. I think this would just look good. Yes, we have a nice clear view of the outdoors. I like it. And just like that, we now have a house that has a foundation and some flare around it. And glass windows. Look at that. We also have a nice new cement-looking floor made of hardened clay. And this also insulates our cellar, so it actually works as a full cellar still. And we even have put some more of these light mud bricks all around our garden area here. And I think it is looking mighty fine. If I had one wish, it would be that we could actually modify these windows a bit. The glass blocks are... excuse me. The glass blocks are nice, but they don't allow you to add as much depth as the fake wooden windows added for the house. So that could be something that we'll fix in the future when we have access to more options. But for now, I think this will do. Anyway, everyone, that is about all the time we have for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. I hope you enjoyed this exploration in the different materials that are available to you in the early game. This, combined with our second episode where we built the house using the cobblestone brick and the wood fences and clay roofing, kind of completes most of the options available to you in the early game before you get copper. Those of you who watched the first season of the guide series may remember that we didn't get to copper until episode 10, and I kept to every 10 episodes we would advance a tech tier, and I might do the same here, I might not. We'll have to kind of see. We will also have to see if we can kill this guy in third-person mode. Come on, let's do it. Aha. Aha. No. 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 Nope. Boy, I don't think I could play it in this mode. Oh, there's 2 of you. Ah, good grief. Oh, there's 3 of you. Nope, we're done. Anyway, I hope you are looking forward to more adventures in the early game of Vintage Story and moving into the Copper Age in the next few episodes. As always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.